Marcus Peters could potentially have a rough day, but I think we need to understand why. If you have Aqib Talib on the field, and we know what kind of reputation he has as an elite corner in this game, and he certainly has had elite moments, you're not going to necessarily attack him. You're going to gear and aim, your focus in a different direction. It's almost like primetime Deion Sanders being on the field, not to compare Aqib Talib or anybody to primetime. But what I'm saying is that if he's on the field, well, you don't want to go near him. So you're going to go in any other direction. And when you combine that with the fact that Marcus Peters' strength isn't manning up on you one-on-one, because there have been questions about his discipline and his focus in terms of being an on-ball defender. He's a guy that's like a spy. He likes to take chances and risks. Sometimes he's looking at you. Sometimes he's looking at the quarterback. Sometimes he's trying to anticipate and he takes chances. And as a result, he might get burned. Aqib Talib wasn't on the field against the Saints. So as a result, you're on Michael Thomas. He's burned you for a 73-yard touchdown. He's got 211 receiving yards or 12 receptions on the evening. I don't expect that to happen to him. But are they going to target Peters? Of course they're going to target Peters because they don't want to target Aqib Talib. But that doesn't mean that Peters can't play or anything like that. And the last point I want to make, Max, is this. Can we stop getting on guys for being a bit sensitive in the throes of competition, like the week coming? Like, if this is the preseason training camp where you just berating him, that's different. This man is trying to get to the Super Bowl. Let him be whatever he needs to be in order to be at his best.
Before fights, Bernard Hopkins,
right,
who worked with us on the air and who's a good dude, love Bernard.
Yeah, great.
Used to curse me, used to curse Larry Merchant to the floor at pre-fight meetings, beefing.
Yeah.
Sometimes on air. No one takes it personally. He's got to have a fight. He's got to prepare his mind for war. He's got to do what he's got to do.
Absolutely.
It's all over.
Let him be that way.
Right. And plus, these athletes are being asked questions.
Right.
It's not like they're just offering it up, just tweeting it out.
No, I don't want an Adrian Broner going at Al Bernstein like he did the other day. That was a little over the line. Al's class personified. But if you're going into a fight,
go at you or me,
somebody's got a license to assault you, we as a media members got to understand.
So I can curse you guys.
Be whatever you need to be.
Go at you or me, we're obnoxious. Al is a great guy. Okay,
Al's a gentleman. Al's a gentleman.
By the way, Darren is back.
Darren, this is what I think real quick is going to happen in the rematch here. I really see football as a game of trends. Who's trending in what direction? I think the Saints hit their peak 2/3 of the way through the season. 5 or 6 weeks ago, I think they've been trending in the wrong direction. Doesn't mean that they couldn't still be the best team in football. They could. But it took all their ingenuity, all their preparation to eke out a win at home against an Eagles team who were dropping passes on the last drive of the game, or else I think the Eagles had a pretty good chance to win that game. It was a one-score game. So given where the Saints are right now, and given where the Rams are, who seem to peak early and then fade, but seem to be ticking up again, I just think the Rams are catching the Saints at just the right time. Between two powerhouses all year, I expect the Rams' trajectory going upward is going to clip the Saints in a close game.
Rams are 17-0 when they rush for 120 or more yards when Jared Goff is.
They got two guys who can run now.
Right?
Yeah, and that's saying something. I mean, 17-0. Listen, I look at this Rams team now. You got C.J. Anderson, who's becoming the X factor guy, who's like, that bowling ball that's making big play after big play in the running game. And that's what's happening with the Rams. They've come back to life built on this running game. It's not been so much a passing game. It's that they're offsetting you with the running game and back to the play action game. Even without Todd Gurley, this offensive line has been dominant up front in the last 3 or 4 weeks. That's going to be the question mark going into the game. Can the Saints stop them from being that team that dominates you up front and put the onus on Jared Goff to win the game with his arm? Because I think that's the question mark going into this game. Can Jared Goff win this big game by himself if the running game is not as explosive as it's been the last couple of weeks?
Is Jared Goff, halfway through the season, I thought this dude is an elite quarterback. #1 overall pick. Yeah. Was he going to be a bust? Then McVay gets there. He looks great and everything. He was dropping dimes. I mean, he was making these Aaron Rodgers throws down the field. And then it started going the other way. Is he a system quarterback, a creation of Sean McVay? Is he an elite player, somewhere in between? What's your suspicion on where Goff is right now?
Listen, I think he's a player right now, and I think we're going to find out a lot about that. And I think you hit it on the head, Max. Is he a system guy? Well, we saw earlier in the season the play action was there. When teams are focused on Todd Gurley and that play action, they set things up with the play action, and they run that play, and then basically the openings were there and because of the play action, because of the running game was so dangerous, and he was able to put the ball where he wanted to put it. That's going to be the question going this week, because I think the Saints are going to make them one-handed. I think they're going to load up the box and say, hey, listen, Gurley's not going to beat us. C.J. Anderson's not going to beat us. Now, Jared Goff is 3rd and 9. Can you complete the pass on obvious passing downs? That's going to be the big question. And, Jared Goff has stepped up. Last week, I thought he stepped up the right way. I mean, he made some big plays when it was obvious passing downs. Can he do it again in the Dome against the New Orleans Saints?
I got to tell you this before I let you go. I think getting back to Peters, I think it's going to be very, very important. See, Michael Thomas is going to be Michael Thomas. Yeah. We know what he means to Drew Brees. We know that Drew Brees is going to target him. But if Traquan Smith or somebody else ends up having a field day and Aqib Talib, assuming he's on Michael Thomas and he handles his business and somebody else is doing damage, and that's on Marcus Peters, that's where Marcus Peters will look really, really bad.
Give McVay credit, too, as Darren pointed out real quick. The league adjusted to the play action. Of course, Gurley was banged up, and Whitworth missed the game, and obviously Kupp gets injured. And the question was, can McVay readjust? Can he be more like Belichick, right, and be a different kind of team, take out the right tool out of the box for that job? And the answer against the Cowboys was yes.
Guys,
also, and Ted Ginn, he was back last week. These are the guys that Marcus Peters
Ginn look out for.
Get off.
No
Ginn look out for.